Beerzerker here. Negra modelo. This is a Vienna lager, first brewed by Austrian immigrants in Mexico. Went to production on draft 1920 something. I buy this all the time. It's kind of a weird beer, but we'll get into it. Let's check it out. Yeah. Oh, wow. That's what it takes to get head out of this beer, though. You almost gotta shake the bottle up, you know what I mean? Yeah, this is Cheech and Chong. Earache my eye. Sorry, I never gotten head out of this beer before, so I was like, it's usually the one thing I always bitch about with this beer is that there ain't a whole lot of head or whatever in this beer. So. Cheech and Chong fucking rock. Oh, but if you do dump it in like just nuts like that, it's like the head is real creamy and good though. And I'll be honest, this lager, it's a lager, and it's kind of got a lot of similar malt characteristics to a brown ale, but it's got that nice crisp lager feel. And if I was going to compare it to anything, and the only thing I've drank that would compare to this is the Festbock. Now Holsten makes a Festbock, which is pretty good. I really recommend the Holsten Maibach. That beer is really cool. It's not dark though, like this. It's not, it looks like a regular beer kinda, but the Festbock's like this, maybe not quite as dark, and that's the only comparisons I can make for dark lager, I believe. I might have a couple other imports from that part of Europe, maybe. Oh, like the malt bill in the middle, like in the middle of the taste is so that you just get all that, and it's yeah, very similar to a brown ale. Something kind of like a brown ale. It's kind of a yeah, but if you want to head out of this beer, I mean, you have to just slam it in the glass. Which it's not a big deal if it tastes good, right? This is a very crisp, refreshing brown beer. I don't think it's super heavy. It's made to be drunk in Mexico, so I've never been there, but I imagine it's hotter than hell. So if this is refreshing and enjoyable and is not giving you a headache there, it's gonna be good anywhere. Yeah, and the head's maintaining. Like I say, a lot of times you won't get head off it. So just slam it in the glass. Maybe dump it in a way bigger glass than you would normally think to. For this, it's a 5.3%, and it's a 355 ml bottle. So maybe dump her in a bigger mug than what I tried, and just slam it in there, and you'll get some foam. It's quite crisp, tingly, quite clean. I don't want want to say watery. I mean, there is a lot of flavor in there, but it kind of is nice and clean, crisp, and refreshing. It's slightly watery, but there's a lot of malt there. You can taste the browned grains in it. There's almost like a molasses type flavor, like not heavy, like maybe a little bit in the in the back of it, but I don't know what else to say about it. Alcohol wise, it's I don't know. To me, 5% isn't a real alcoholic beer. That's not. It doesn't really. I never drink a 5% beer, and I'm like, oh, take it easy, It's just I could really. I like to enjoy my beer. Like I don't like to drink it super fast, but if I wanted to, I could drink a 5% beer in about 5.5 seconds. So I just have to stop to get air, and then kind of like taking a swim or something, It's not a problem to drink it. It's 5%. I don't know. I don't even notice the alcohol is what I'm trying to say. You can tell it's not fruit punch, but it's got a nice aftertaste. It's so clean. Like the start, you don't get a lot. You get a lot of the flavors in the middle. It finishes up with the foam, the flavor like from the head on it. Because I got head out of it this time. And like I say, you gotta slam it. I ain't shitting you in the glass. And so the finish is nice and mellow. There is an aftertaste, but it's very mild. It's not bad. Of course, I showed you the color already. It's a very dark beer. It's not black, but it's definitely very brown. And it is lacing. If you can get head out of it, it will lace. And the head is retaining a little bit. Normally, like I said, I've learned to get extreme on the pour. Otherwise, there's nothing there. And overall, I really like this beer. I bought it a lot. I've had people, men in liquor store tell me, shit, that's my favorite beer too, And so a lot of people like this beer, and I don't blame them. I do really like dark lagers, like, even like, if I find a good lager, I do really enjoy it. Most lagers to me are kind of shitty, but when I drink something like this, or the Festbach, or a Maibach, it's pretty exciting. It's really good. There's a lot of shitty lagers out of there, like Holsten. Don't go for the premium, but the Maibach it blew my mind. I'd never had a beer like that before, and this is a very unique beer as well. Vienna lager. Or so I've been led to believe. Drinking my cold away. Yeah, sorry. I know I'm disgusting. So I can't smell very good, but it kind of is light, and you smell the foam. Maybe smell a little bit of the yeastiness, very light. A little bit caramely smell in there. Very pleasant. And like, if you got friends that are into drinking Budweiser or Coors, and of course they're always so negative towards the dark beers or anything a little different than your typical pale lager, force them to drink one of these or something, and that might change their mind. It's a little malty, a little bit sweet in the back, bit of tingle on it. Yeah, it's malty. It's so much like a brown ale. It really, obviously, probably almost an identical grain bill, more than likely, but I have no idea. I'm just assuming a lot here, but overall, I love this beer, and it's unique to me. I don't know if it's unique to you, but in my liquor store, there's not a whole lot of beers that I'll ever find that are just like this. as far as I know, the only Vienna lager I've ever drank, and the closest I've come to this is the Festbach, which is to me quite a different beer, but it's still the closest thing I can compare it to. And I think the world needs more dark lagers, is what I think. This is really good. So on uniqueness and everything, if anything, it could have a little more, like I said, like because I dumped it in and everything, but it is lacing and that. But the carbonation's a little weak. Whether they do that, I imagine they do it on purpose, so they want more carbonation. They can just carbonate it more. I don't know if they're trying to be true to the style or what the deal is with that. Maybe a little more hops. That's always my biggest beef with all beers, though, is like, why don't you throw some more hops in the damn thing? But most commercial beers that you buy are not hopped enough for me. Like, I'm trying to taste them, and there's like a little bit of bitterness or whatever, but I can't, unless it's an IPA or something. I generally don't even know there's any hops in it hardly. This is a similar situation. If I brewed this beer, I would have thrown 3 times as many hops in it. And maybe a little more CO2. But it's still really enjoyable, so I'm going to give it a 8 out of 11, which I think is a pretty good mark. And on a hot day, it would definitely be an 8.5. Brown ale with a lager yeast is a really cool idea. Not that it's like totally outrageous that someone would have thought of that, but you know, I think it's great that it's commercially available. Yeah, delicious, folks. Easy drinking. You can party with this beer. Great campfire beer, whatever, and buy it all the time. Little weak on the head, could use a little more hops, but then every beer is different, though. You can't just, if I wanted an IPA, I would have bought an IPA, but I bought this, so it's an 8 out of 11. The Spinal Tap 11, but I was going to 11, so my beer tastes better. Beerzerker 8 out of 11. Negra modelo. Deal with it.